I'm Matt from Ludochrono. Today I'm going to give you an overview of Apex. Apex is a spatial conquest game for 2 to 6 players, ages 10 and up, and it plays for around 30 to 60 minutes. In this game you try to get the most victory points by controlling space. At the end of every round of the game, every 5 turns, there is going to be a control phase in which if you have sectors and have control of them, you get victory points. Additionally, if you trigger attacks and you win them, you get victory points. So the goal is to have the most victory points at the end of the third age. The players are going to each have their ships, their colonies, and their board with different stats that we can increase to better our possibilities. We also have a hand of cards, and this hand of cards has symbols on them. All of the cards may be used for one single action each turn. So in this case, we all have a hand of cards and we may move to the first turn. We each select the card that we want to use. We select the symbol or symbols that we want to use and place them facing the other players. And once everyone has selected their card, we simultaneously flip them up. And then we resolve symbols starting with A and going up to D. So A is for attack, no one triggered an attack here, so we move on to B. B is evolution, and that player has triggered an evolution for themselves. They are going to increase their own track, like so. Then we move on to C, which is colonize, no one has selected it, so we move on to D. And 2 players have selected D, which is the green row for maneuvers. And if that happens, we are going to resolve actions starting with the lowest initiative to the highest. So this player with initiative 5 is going to go before me because I have initiative 30. They have 3 moves. To perform a move action, you're going to select a sector and move as many of your ships from that sector to an adjacent sector. So for their first move, they are going to do this. For their second move, because they have 3 of them, they could do this. And for their third move, they could, for example, do this. That's the end of their card. I move on to mine, and this is production. I am going to produce, to create 3 ships, and add that to my production score. My production score is 1, so I will produce and make 4 ships in a place I have a colony in. We all have a base colony, and we may produce additional colonies by using the colonize action. Once all actions have been resolved, we're going to discard the cards and pass the hand to the next player and take another turn. We do that 5 times and then we move on to control. Once you have played 5 turns of this, you're going to discard your 6th card and you may move to the control phase. During the control phase, you are going to check every sector, and if you have the control of that sector, meaning you have the most influence, which is the number of units you have plus your influence score, you're going to get 1 victory point for this sector. So in this case, I am alone, I gain a victory point. In this case, also I am alone, but I have a bonus since there is a colony here, which counts in my influence score, and there is this influence bonus. I'm going to get 2 points for this one. But we might have different players on the same area, and we are going to count which player has the majority of influence. In this case, for example, in this sector, we have 2 for the red player, and I have only 1 unit, but I have 2 influence, so 1 plus 2, 3. I have the control of that sector, and I gain 1 victory point. We do so for all sectors, and then we move on to the next round by dealing 6 fresh cards to all the players. I told you about several icons, but I'm going to go over some of them in more detail. So the cards always have 4 icons, and it always starts with combat, evolution, then conquest. So the conquest allows you to place a colony on the board, and you have the maneuvers. We saw the movement, but we also have the portals. The portals allow you to jump from one place of the universe to another. We have skirmish, which allows you to target enemy units in your area and you can remove them. And you have convert, which allow you to convert enemy units in an area you are present to your faction. So that's basically the gist of them, but we are going to go over attack in more detail. Whenever we trigger an attack, we are going to target a sector. For example, the red player might declare an attack here, and we are going to count up forces. So you add up the number of units that you have plus your armament score. And in this case, the red player has 4 here, 2 armament, they have 6 total strength. In my case, I have 3 plus 0 armament, so I have 3, and the blue player has 1 plus 1, they have 2. and then the player with the majority is going to win the attack. Therefore, they gain 1 victory point and they eliminate all other troops. However, they are going to maybe lose some troops. They are allowed to keep as many troops as the difference between their score and the second player's score. So 6 minus 3 equals 3, so they are allowed to keep 3 troops. So we lose everything and they lose 1. So declaring attacks as your action is going to allow you to counteract influence strategies. You play 3 rounds of 5 turns each, and then you have a last control phase, and the player with the highest score at the end of this final control phase wins the game. So that's it for Apex. So this is a game of spatial development in which you try to improve your capacity and improve your different abilities to conquer or to eliminate your opponents. Now, bye-bye, see you in another video.